This is George Dionne with Metal Express Radio, and I'm here with Axel Rudi Pell. How you doing, Axel?
I'm great, thanks. Hi, George.
Hi. If I knew absolutely nothing about Axel Rudi Pell, how would you describe your music to me?
Oh, the worst guitarist ever been ever on the planet. Sucks, can't play, worst songs to the really it's crap. No, no, I'm kidding. And I think it's about we're playing. I call it melodic hard rock. I mean, it's not metal; it's melodic hard rock. I said, if someone would ask me what kind of music is it, I would say melodic hard rock. Best described as a cross between Deep Purple and the Scorpions, maybe. A combination of both sound-wise. Of course, we found our own style, ARP style, But I think that would describe it the best.
I'd agree with that. And on July 30th, you released your second covers album, Diamonds Unlocked 2, on SPV Steamhammer. You decided to release a covers album because you thought it was pointless to release a new album because you couldn't tour on it, correct?
That's right, exactly. I mean, the other one, the last release studio album, came out at the beginning of May 2020. And normally we're releasing every new studio album every 2 years or every 2.5 years. So it was way too early for the record company to say, hey, that doesn't make sense. And I say, I didn't write one song, that's not one song ready. I mean, I'm still collecting ideas, but I can't go in the studio and do another studio record. It doesn't make sense to me. And they said, okay, what about a cover album? I say, wow, that's a good idea. Actually, we can create something. We have fun. We play because you need to play even in Corona times, So, yeah, that was great.
You decided not to go like the traditional route when presenting the songs. You tried to take a different take and, like more people would change the arrangements, but yours were more subtle. Like for There's Only One Way to Rock by Sammy Hagar, you kind of combined solos from Sammy and Eddie for this one. So do you want to describe that a little better?
Yes. I didn't take Eddie Van Halen because there only was one Eddie Van Halen. I don't want to compete with him. It's because he was incredible genius on the guitar. So of course I played. The only thing I took from the Van Halen live version is the combination of two guitar solos. That's the reason why I did one guitar in the left channel and one in the right. But I'm dueling with myself, as you can say. So I don't want to have another guitar player there. It's just me in both guitars. That's the only thing which is in common to the Van Halen version. Otherwise, it's still the same arrangement than Sammy Hagar has from. I think it was on the Standing Hampton record way back in '82 or something, '81. I don't know. Okay.
It was back there.
Yeah.
You also cover kind of not as popular Rainbow song, Lady of the Lake, and Bobby Rondinelli is your drummer, so I thought maybe that was his idea to kind of bring that to the table.
No, definitely not. But he loved the idea as soon as they came up with that track. And I said, "Wow, baby, that's great. Let's go for it." For one reason, Rainbow never played that song live. I don't know why, but they never did. Actually, because maybe the time between the release and Ronnie Dio's departure from the band was too close. I don't know.
Fair enough. Kind of the oddball of the group, or at least I thought the oddball of the group. She's a Lady by Paul Anka and Tom Jones, sort of kind of stuff my grandmother listened to. So bring it into hard rock style.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Okay. Yeah, I had the idea not to cover the song as it was with the original arrangement. Once I heard a cover version of another guy or band, I don't know, which was completely ballad. But I took the idea from that. I said, "Wow, that doesn't sound too bad." I played it to my wife, and she immediately started crying. "Wow, that's a good idea! Oh my God!" And then I changed it in the middle to have it more into the heavy direction, more aggressive. But I think it's a good combination of both. Once people are saying, "Well, why don't you do a ballad and a hard rock song?" I say, "No, that's enough. I can't do that, because one version definitely is enough, So yeah."
Absolutely. You covered Gioeli, Blackout Woman. I had never heard this song before. I heard your version of it, and it's pretty cool. Your version, pretty cool going back and checking out the old one.
That's right. And as soon as I mentioned that to my American friends in the band, Johnny, he's from America, and Bobby too, They say, what kind of song is it? We've never heard about it, you know? I say, maybe you don't get it because it was Brian Johnson's first band before he joined AC/DC, you know? And that was a famous hit single all over, I think it's UK and Germany probably. And I took, there are two versions of it, and I took a combination of both versions, and I love the track. So the other guys too. Yeah.
For Paint It Black, you didn't take the Rolling Stones version. You actually did a cover of a cover. You did Deep Purple's version.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, not really, but you know, I took a cover from the Rolling Stones and changed it a bit. But I didn't take so much away. Of course, we added something special, the long keyboard and guitar solo in the middle, which of course I got the idea from Deep Purple when I saw them live in '93, the last tour with Richie Blackmore, you know. So, but they played it differently, you know. So I needed the power from the back and the solos on top, and I love it.
Another kind of oddball that I don't think most metal fans would expect was Eagle by ABBA. But I mean, if you sit down and listen to ABBA, it's such great songs. It doesn't matter that they're pop music.
That's right, exactly. That's what I thought too, because I always was a huge ABBA fan way back in the 70s, you know. I think they were not underrated because I sold millions and millions of albums, but they got such great songs with great melodies, and it was perfect at that time, you know. I said, why don't we put that one into a more heavy rock direction, you know? And it worked out pretty good. So yeah, most people say, oh, that could be one of your tracks. I said, of course. Yeah.
So just last year, you released a studio album, Sign of the Times. Were you able to get out and tour a little bit on it before everything shut down?
Nothing really, no. Unfortunately not. The record came out at the beginning of May of 2020, and the last show we played was on the 19th of July in 2019 in Russia, in St. Petersburg. That was our last show, because then the tour was over, the tour before. You know, we did a best of tour in 2019. And we went straight into the studio afterwards. You know, there was no time to carry on playing. So we went into the studio, finished the record, and close before the record was finished, we say, okay, that's a tour, you know, we will go out. And then finally the shit happened, you know, so.
You were planning a U.S. tour for that album, weren't you?
No.
No?
Maybe you know more than my age. I didn't hear about it so far, I'm afraid. We would love to play the US, you know, because I'm already talking to Johnny and Bobby. They're both Americans, and I always say, what do you think? What do you really think about doing a tour over there? And both people, Bobby and Johnny, told me, Axel, don't do it. You will waste your money. You will, really, because this is not the scene there any longer for this kind of music. If you're lucky, you'll get 80 to 100 people maybe a show, if you're lucky. And, you know, it's so huge. The country is so huge. Where want to start? You want to go out travel for 3 or 4 months. I said, I don't have a problem with that, you know. But on the other hand, that's really, you know, sometimes I wish to come over. Yeah, maybe we can play 1, 2, or 3 festivals or whatever. Would be great.
We don't have a lot of those.
Yes. Hey, guy invites me to the Cabo Wabo, and I can play there. I don't know if he likes our version.
So one of the things about Sign of the Times that I noticed, because I've been a longtime Axel Rudi Pell fan, is that you kind of toned back a little bit on the mystical elements and the damsel in distress stuff, and you kind of pulled back the keys. Did you feel that now was the time to kind of try that kind of more relatable songs is what I thought here?
I don't know, to be honest. It was like, you know, when the record Sign of the Times came out, I felt that it was the strongest we had out at that point. So it's of course, it's one of my favorite, let's say, top 3 ARP albums. I don't know about the next one, you know, maybe it sounds a little different, but with a typical ARP style. At the moment, I'm doing interviews, and I'm in the writing process at the moment too, you know. So I don't listen much to Sign of the Times, and I don't listen much to the new record because it's finished for me. So I have to concentrate on new music, and whatever will come to my mind, I don't know.
Let everybody else decide what they think, right? You just create, move, tour, create, tour, right?
Right, exactly. Yes.
So I was talking to Charlie Huhn. I had an interview with him. He's the front man of Foghat here in the United States now.
Right, yeah.
We were talking about Wild Obsession and you guys getting together in 1989. He had nothing but great things to say. What do you remember about making your first solo record with Charlie?
Oh, I knew Charlie a long time ago because he used to be in a German band called Victory. It was a Hanover-based band, and they were in the same studio that my former band Steeler were in. And we became friends. We hang out at the same bar, at pub, drinking a lot together, and we had some fun, and we became friends. And when I left Steeler, it was my first thing, and I had in my mind, why didn't I ask Charlie? Because he was just out of Victory, And he totally agreed. He said, well, yeah, that's a great idea, And we did it, That was cool. Charlie is a very, very professional musician, and he's one of the greatest. His voice is fantastic, Still is. I saw some YouTube videos from Foghat the other day. It was still great, Yeah, he's a great guy.
Absolutely. In 1998, your current singer Johnny Gioeli, I can never get it right.
Gioeli.
He joined the band and he's been with you ever since. What do you remember about the time Johnny came on board?
It changed a bit because I just started to write songs for the Oceans of Time record. I was in halfway through writing, and it took me such a long time to talk to Johnny because he told me I quit music. I'm not doing any music any longer. I have a company with my brother. We're doing e-commerce, blah blah blah, some kind of, I don't know. In California, I quit. I just cut my hair off 6 weeks ago. It's short now. I say, are you kidding me? Don't waste your time on other things. You have such a great voice, because I loved the first Heartline record, And he said, no, I'm sorry, man, but I can't do it, And the next day I phoned him again. Hey, Johnny, what's up, man? Hey, you again? Okay. I say, you have to come over, you have to do the record. I wrote, and I think my fingers were bleeding. And after 6 weeks, he said, okay, let's give it a try. And he came over, he learned all the German words, train and stuff in Germany, Zug, and I don't know. So I got him from the train station, and we immediately connected, because I knew from the start that he was the right guy. He was a friendly guy, very professional. We went into the studio after checking into his hotel. We went straight to the studio. I said, listen, man, this is it and this is it. And he started singing. I got goosebumps all over the body. I said, whoa, yes, that was right. This is a totally right combination, Yeah. What else can I say?
Nothing.
Okay.
Do you have any plans for touring this year or next year?
This year, unfortunately, we can't because of the pandemic still going on in Europe. I know it's a little bit different in America. People are allowed to go to shows, and in Germany, it's still very, very restricted. When you have for example, only outside, you can play only outside, not inside venues. When you're playing outside, and you have the capacity, for example, it has 20,000, you're only allowed to put 3,000 people in there.
Wow.
With space in between, lots of space, and that doesn't make sense. So we moved every show, the whole tour, from 2020 to 21 and now to 22, and we will start at I think at the middle of April 2022 with the next tour. So there's nothing we can do before,
Right.
Actually, there are a few shows allowed now in the outside. Just I told you, restricted persons. You have to be a negative test, or you have to be vaccinated 2 times, whatever. And still then, you have to be separated from the others. A lot of space around, So actually, we can go out. I love to go out, but first studio, and then we go out. And I'm so happy about next year. If it will happen, I think so. I hope.
Absolutely. One of your bigger tours was the 25th anniversary that you had, and at Bang Your Head Festival, you brought in kind of everybody that was ever part of Axel Rudi Pell.
Yeah.
Are you planning anything like that for your 35th anniversary? Because it's creeping up.
I know, because people are getting older. No, I think this was a one-time special event. I can't follow it. I can't do it again, because then you have to have even more bigger names on it, because people say, I get boring when they get the same names and they say, "Oh, they had it 10 years ago or something." And a few guys are not here any longer. I would love to do it with Ronnie Dio, because he was a friend of mine. We talked. Actually, we supported Heaven and Hell on the last German tour in 2009. But I mean Ronnie for a long time, and then we talked. We had a few beers together, and he doesn't feel sick at all at that time. It was just, I think, 10 months or so before his dying. But I talked to him a lot, and we agreed. We had some fun, and I think that would have been great, but I couldn't have him. So other guys, I don't know, there are a few singers I would like to work with, but even they say no on the 25th anniversary. So why should I try it again? So that makes sense for me. So yeah.
You could always perform with Ronnie's hologram.
And what? Sorry.
You can always perform with Ronnie James Dio's hologram.
Oh, no. No, I'm totally out of this. Sorry. No.
So do you have anything else in the pipeline now besides you're working on the new album? You doing anything else?
So just working on a new album and doing interviews. And we'll be back in the studio, I think, around December, January. And the album will be out next year, hopefully just close to the tour, April, I think. Excellent. I don't have any name. I have no name for it or anything. I'm working on the songs at the moment. Yeah.
You knew my next question was going to be, what's it called?
What's it called?
That was going to be my next question.
Maybe the greatest hits of the best of the greatest hits or something. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's all I got for you today, Axel. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with Metal Express Radio.
Thank you for your time, George. Great interview.